I currently have 0 subscribers, all right? Before we get in the tier list, let me just get this out of the way. I have 0 subscribers. I'm about to go crazy on this platform. I'm going to be grinding this channel. So you guys want to get in now, I'm not telling you what to do, but you'd be dumb not to subscribe. It'd be like getting in Bitcoin in like 2012. It's just going to be parabolic. With that being said, let's get into the tier list. Today, we are talking about signs that you are a good driver. We have some signs here. I kind of forget what half these are, but hopefully I will remember as I'm filming. So we start at the bottom tier with actually bad. This basically means you think you're a good driver. You might think this sign makes you a good driver. It's actually not. It's actually a negative driving habit. Then we have the bare minimum. This is expected. You're not a good driver, not a bad driver. This is what you should be doing. Next, we have good stuff, great driving. Then the highest tier, it's probably only going to be reserved for maybe 1 or 2 of those. But yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off, we have always signaling, making it a habit. Guys, this is going to be the bare minimum. Okay, why? It's signaling. It's telling other drivers what to do. And I'm not just talking about signaling when you're making a lane change. I'm talking about always signaling, making the habit. Do it in the parking lot. Think about it this way, okay? How do crashes happen? By someone else making an unpredictable move or you just being on your phone. But a lot of the crashes happen from someone else, another driver making an unpredictable move. Can you imagine if there was a way to communicate to other drivers what you were going to do? It's almost like there is. It's called signaling, okay? So why not make it a habit? Why not signal whenever you are not driving down a straight road? Whenever you're doing anything else except driving down a straight road, why not signal? And think about it this way. Secondly, I'm going to drive this point home further. Which 2 cars have the most obnoxious drivers, okay? You may have your opinions on this. I have come with fact. It's lifted Silverado drivers and E90 drivers, all right? I'm not talking about the E90 M3 or the E92, whatever. I'm talking about like the Marketplace 328i special. We've all seen those on the road. Those 2 drivers never signal, all right? This is a universal experience. I never see them put on their turn signal. In that case, do you want to be like them or do you want to be someone who communicates to other drivers? I'm putting you guys on some game right now. The fact that I'm giving this out for free is actually insane. That being said, let's hop to the next one. And this is leaving adequate space on the highway in slow-moving traffic. So basically, if the highway is going at a lot lower than a normal speed, say 40, 50, you'll see some drivers who actually leave a fair bit of gap in between them and the driver ahead of them. And this is for good reason, right? So there's some study conducted. I don't want to cite it. I forget. Maybe I'll link it down below if I remember. But some study I read that basically shows that you can reduce traffic times like crazy if people just leave gaps. And it intuitively makes sense, right? If you're actually leaving a good amount of space between you and the driver ahead, if they need to suddenly brake, you don't necessarily have to brake, right? But if you're tailgating them, you're right on their back, you're really close up, you're going to have to brake too. If the person behind you is doing the same thing, they're going to have to brake. And it creates this chain reaction and creates stops. But if you leave adequate space, people are going to be on their brakes way less. It's going to keep the traffic flowing. I hope that made sense. There's studies to prove it. Again, maybe I'll link it down below. This is one of these. I'm going to say this is great driving because if not a lot of people do this, I've moved to the big city. No one does this, man. Everyone thinks they're going to get to their destination sooner if they just sit on the other person's rear. Next, wait, what is, okay, give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Now, this is not only a great sign of driving, but also a great sign of character. This is de-escalating situations, or as we know, turning the other cheek, as the Bible says. I actually have a Bible right here. I'm getting biblical on you guys, all right? This is not just driving. Let's talk about this, okay? Let's say you do something negative, whether it's on purpose or not, to another driver. Maybe you didn't signal enough when you're changing lanes. Maybe you're going a little slow, and this gets them riled up. This is why I put this picture. I'm remembering it all now, okay? And they decide to purposely do something to you to retaliate, all right? Maybe they cut you off and brake check you. Maybe they flip you off. Maybe they just honk their horn. I don't know, right? It is very easy to then retaliate and step it up another level and say, hey, now I'm going to do something to you. All right, I'm going to brake check you harder, something like that. But guys, I'm here to tell you the best thing you can do in this situation is be especially nice to them. Somewhere in the Bible, it says to turn the other cheek when someone does you wrong, something like that. What that basically means is when someone does wrong, you actually want to be nice to them, okay? When someone does you wrong on purpose, right? They're trying to escalate something and you can put out the fire. This is like basic psychology. This is like basic 101. Kids know this. But people on the road somehow don't. So if someone is being an ass to you intentionally, they're brake checking you, they're cutting you off because maybe you did something wrong, or maybe they're just trying to be mean to you, just be nice. Leave lots of space. Let them in if they want to merge. Do whatever you need to do to de-escalate. This is not only a sign of good driving, accident avoidance, but this is also a sign that you're a very mature person. For that reason, I think this is a high-value driver. I see no one doing this. People love to fight on the roads, but you're dealing with motor vehicles. So if you can actually understand this, I would say this is top 1%, personally. Next up, another signaling one. I'm already going to put it in bare minimum because signaling is bare minimum. But this is basically signaling before you brake, okay? So many people on the streets, maybe this is just in my city, so many people will slam on the brakes, come to almost a complete stop, and then signal that they're making a turn. It's like, what's even the point? A signal is supposed to tell someone, hey, I'm doing something irregular than driving straight down the road. All right, whether that be merging or turning. So what is the point of even using your signal if you're not going to do it before you do any other action? So flip on the signal, then hit the brakes. Next up, we have letting someone in. So let's say you're in congested area and you see someone trying to make a merge, trying to make a turn, just letting them in. Now, a lot of people like to get defensive and say like, oh, I was here first, or maybe you should have merged earlier, some BS like that. But the truth is you don't know, right? Or if they're trying to make a turn onto a busy road from a side street, then they really just have to do that. Someone has to let them in. Or if they're trying to merge, like I said before, you don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they just didn't know the turn or, made them the last minute decision. Just let them in, man. I know you get all your high horse. You try and build a wall. You try and play defense on these lanes. Like, why? Why are you doing this? All right? Just let people in. These people will goaltend these lanes. It's crazy to me. Please just let people in. I love when people do this personally, and I also love doing this for people. They always thank you. Good stuff. The next is always driving exactly on the limit. Now, I know I was talking about safety with the turn signaling. I'm going to put this at actually bad, and here's why. Speeding, reckless speeding, no, don't do that, all right? I think everyone knows that. Like, speed is danger or whatever, something like that. But going exactly on the speed limit, especially where I'm from, the speed limits are so slow, it's insane to me, right? Nobody is following them, but sometimes, occasionally, someone does, and it really congests traffic. I know that it is technically your right to go the speed limit. That's completely legal, and anything over is technically breaking the law. But it gets to the point where you're just inhibiting other people's driving. I know this is probably going to be a hot take, but I think it's true. And the other thing is that if you're right on the limit, you're bound to go a bit below as well, right? You can't stay exactly on 60 or whatever the speed limit is. I get driving safe. I get driving cautiously, but please just go a reasonable speed. Next up, slowing down when people are tailgating you. Now, a lot of you probably thinking that's an insane driving habit. Who does that? But the amount of times I've seen it, whether online or talking to people in person, I'm a very social guy. People I talk to in person bring this up all the time. They're like, oh, when someone's tailgating me, I just slow down. That'll show them. Realize that you should take accountability first, right? I get it. If you're going 10, 20 over, you're still getting tailgated, probably by an E90 driver. That's fair, right? That's kind of ridiculous. But if you are going the speed limit or below, people are going to tailgate. That's just unfortunate. People get fed up and frustrated. Am I saying it's safe or right? No, but that is a byproduct of you going slow on the roads. So why would you go even slower? Do you really think that's going to fix anything? Back to the top 1%, right? If you're de-escalating, you're making people less angry on the roads, and you're being nice, that's a good value to have. So if you're just slowing down on purpose, that's escalating. People who do this drive me insane. I try not to tailgate. I mean, no one's perfect, man. If you're going 10 under, it's pretty frustrating. I try not to, though. But yeah, just de-escalate, man. Come on. Go the speed you want if it's not inhibiting other people's driving. So for that reason, I'm going to put this actually bad. Okay, the next sign we have is going back into the right lane or whatever lane's the non-passing lane after you have made a pass. Basically, if you're going on the highway, you see someone who's driving slower, you hop in the left lane / the passing lane, make your pass, and immediately go back, all right? I could make a whole video on this, on how big of a problem this is, but people do not treat the passing lane properly. People are going like slightly above the limit and think it's the fast lane and just sit there. That's not how it works, right? Make your pass, go back in the non-passing lane. Even if you're going 20, 30, 40 over, if you're not passing, don't be in the passing lane. This feels like it should not be rocket science, but the amount of times you just see some Nissan Leaf sitting in the leftmost lane or any of the passing lanes for that matter, it's nauseating, man. It genuinely makes me sick. It makes me sick. There we go. I said it. It makes me sick. So please, if you are not passing, don't be in the passing lane. Seems super self-explanatory, but everyone seems to mess this up. No one gets this. No one understands the passing lanes for passing. So please, when you're done passing, hop back in the right lane. It's respectful. When I see people do this, I know they're considerate of other drivers. This means it's great driving, especially if they get right back in when they're done their pass, even if no one's behind you waiting to pass you. Okay, next up, we have flashing your high beams to warn other drivers of cops. Nobody likes a speeding ticket, but the unfortunate part is, maybe it's specifically where I live, there are cops everywhere, and they are running radars, and they will pull you over for the craziest speeds, right? And I'm not talking about like crazy fast. I'm talking about like barely over the limit. Feels like tax collection. I don't know, man. So when people flash their lights, it's very considerate. It shows, hey, I care about you. I don't want you to get a ticket. Maybe you're just going 10 over. Some cops pull for 10 over, which is actually insane, right? So this is very considerate of other people. Make sure you're not doing it at night, especially if you have bright lights like this picture here. But if it's daytime, quickly flicking your lights helps a ton. It's very considerate, saves people. It saved me multiple times personally. This is good driving. Finally, we have letting motorcyclists pass when they are lane splitting. So basically, when you see motorcyclists oncoming, you move over a little bit to the other side of your lane to let them pass safely. This is huge, all right? This is such a minor thing, but it is truly a sign of a considerate driver. But this is a good sign, right? You're basically being respectful, you're being safe, you're looking out for our two-wheel brothers. This is a very good driving habit. All right, that is the video. Guys, if you have made it this far, I really appreciate it. At the time of filming this, I have 0 subs, but we're going to go crazy, guys. I'm going to get better. I'm going to keep on my grind, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye.